Today, I would like to show you a different build video from my usual. Instead of making a late game build and showing clips of me destroying the game in Max New Game Plus, I wanted to start a completely fresh save file and see how far I can get progression and build-wise in only 30 minutes. So in this video, I will be commentating over the uncut, but in some parts sped up, 30 minutes that I took right out of the gate. To start off, I went through the Cave of Knowledge, but I did not beat the Grafted Scion, as I believe this will be the experience of most new players. Starting class was Samurai, starting gift Golden Seed for that extra flask at the beginning. Timer starts right as I step into Limgrave. Now for this run, I could have not touched a lot of Sites of Grace, but I decided to do so as you will be doing this on your run if you use this as any sort of guide, and I might come back to the save later. Outside the Church of Ella, there's a Golden Rune too. Popping that alongside the experience we got from Soldier of Godrick will get us to the next level. One thing I gotta say about New Game is that Poise breaks so easily compared to Max New Game Plus. It felt weird during this run. If there's any soldier in the forest you want to kill, it should be that second guy by the ruined wagon, as there are 4 kukris next to him. We will be using those in a bit. Heading north, we want to unlock Torrent as soon as possible. This will make us a lot faster, meaning we can cover much more in only 30 minutes. I always equip the Spectral Steed Whistle on the top hot select. I cannot fathom any other placement. There is 1 Golden Seed on the way to Stormhill Shack, and a Stone Sword Key. We'll be touching this grace for now, as we will come back here later at the end of the run. Always pick up the map when you can. Seeing uncharted areas on my map screen annoys me to no end. Our first stop is Weeping Peninsula. The fastest way to get there is to cross Gatefront Ruins, and then head southeast, where we can find a Trina Lily and an Ash of War. Those kukris will aid you well in picking up Unsheathed, which later in the run, we can infuse onto the Uchi Katana, or any other katana you so choose to use. Looking back at this, it may be easier to just go to first steps, and then heading to Weeping Peninsula that way. Cutting out so many seconds wouldn't really affect the end of this run, but if you really want to optimize it, you may want to try that. The bridge into Weeping is easy to traverse. Circle around and the ballista will hit something that is not you. And at the edge of the bridge, there's another Stone Sword Key for us. If you see me picking up a lot of things in these clips, it's because I'm a bit of a loot goblin. These crafting materials are irrelevant to the challenge. The impetus behind tapping the triangle button is my insatiable desire to fill my inventory up. To play it safe, get the Golden Seed first, and then circle back for the map. It reduces the time you're in the crosshairs of that Golem Archer. The church in the Ailing Village has the first of 3 sacred tiers in Weeping. Stay on your horse, get in and get out of there, so you don't have to deal with all those rats. Head southwest of the Grace, and there's a safe spot to drop down by the bridge, on top of another Trina Lily, and we can head to the next sacred tier. the Church of the Pilgrimage Grace is essential, we'll be headed right back here. After that third sacred tier, I wanted to buff up my flasks, as soon we will be starting our first boss fight. We are fighting the Erdtree Avatar and weeping not because he's easy, which he is, but because of the drops. After acquiring the Crimson Burst Crystal tier and Opaline Bubble tier for continuous HP regeneration and a one-time 90% damage negation, it was time to head back to Gatefront and head into the Mistwood. On the bridge, we can pick up a smithing stone, and if you don't want to get hit by this knight's cavalry, hug his right side, and his halberd hitbox will overshoot you. We will be returning to this grace, so this is an essential one to touch. Now we need to visit the third Church of Marika for perhaps the most important item in this 30-minute run, our wondrous Physique Flask, and a fourth sacred tier. There is a nice Ash of War, Sacred Blade to the north. And 3 Spirit Springs. We will use 2 of them and a Stone Sword Key to unlock the Green Turtle Talisman, which was used on most of my builds before the DLC when the 2-headed Turtle Talisman outclassed it. You can get this right at the beginning of the game. You don't need to defeat a single enemy, and it's one of the best base game talismans. Now is a great time to add tiers to the flask, where I of course forget to level up, as now we need to head into the Mistwood Ruins for the Axe Talisman. I take the road so I can pick up the map easily. But I head into the ruins from the east side and get a little disoriented. What you need to do is find that sleeping rune bear and run down the stairs next to him. In the chest in the basement is the Axe Talisman. That powers up all our fully charged heavies. Being in the basement is also far enough from the rune bear to use fast travel. So head back to the third Church of Marika, where I finally leveled up. And take the Waygate to the Bestial Sanctum. Here we will find another version of a talisman I almost always use, the Dragon Crest Shield. Loop around the west side of the sanctum, and head off the cliff by those stairs. You'll drop down onto one route, then another route, and then a domed roof. You can keep descending ledge by ledge here. But I would recommend using that opaline bubble tier. The bats in the Dragon Barrow can do a lot of damage. In all my test runs, this is the only time I ever got hit by them, so avoiding them is not difficult. I just screwed up on this run. Head down, the enemies will probably die to fall damage, so more runes for you. Here we can pick up the Chinkadea, and then the Dragon Crest Shield, a talisman that boosts our physical damage negation. Not nearly as much as the Dragon Crest Great Shield, but I'm not making it to the Halig Tree in 30 minutes. Quit out to lose aggro, and then head back to the Stormhill Shack. With my choice of good talismans, 17 points in vigor, and a couple nice tiers, I decided now was the time to challenge Margit. Melina tried to take me to the Round Table Hold, but you can just say no and continue on your quest. I don't have time for this. I got one more point in vigor, and then started the fight. Now here, I almost decided to scrap this run and do another one, because there was one point I really screwed up against Margit and actually panic rolled against the starter boss. I know, 2,000 hours in the game, still panic rolling and getting hit by the first boss. Absolutely disgraceful, but you know what? I'm gonna keep it in anyway. On Max New Game Plus, I finish off this guy so fast. So admittedly, I'm kind of out of practice with him, but whatever. I remembered the most important thing about starting a new Elden Ring run, and that is level Vig. So therefore, I won, even with that disgusting panic rolling. In a crazy attempt to defeat a shard bearer before the 30 minutes was up, I said I wanted that front gate open and ran right through. If you watch the ballisti closely, you can see when they're about to fire, then roll in a rhythm and you'll dodge them every time. The fire ballisti on the stairs are even easier to avoid. Right when you come out of from behind that rock face, run diagonally and jump. They will land and explode on the ground harmlessly. Take the side lift around the Stormcaller Ash of War, and you'll find yourself at the site of grace right outside of Godrick's arena. If you've made it this far, the hardest part of the run is well behind us. I think Margit and running through Stormveil are both more difficult than the Godrick fight. So I will let this one play out. After the easiest remembrance boss, I grabbed the Shabriri Grape, as that's a sort of tradition of mine. Got another sacred tier. And ended the run as Wanderer über dem Nebelmeer at 29 minutes and 50 seconds. We ended the half-hour run with 29 points in vigor, a stamina regen talisman, a heavy attack talisman, and a third one for physical defense. We already have 5 sacred tiers, and the Crimson Burst Crystal tier and the Opaline Bubble tier will help with our survivability. From here, you can take the build in any direction that you please. There are awesome weapons close to Sites of Grace we've already touched, or if we want to advance the story, we can strike out into Caelid or Liurnia. The one downside to the build is that I didn't upgrade my weapon at all. It is still a +0, which if you head into those other areas, you will really be feeling. I considered adding a mine to somewhere in this run, but I prefer getting the tiers and talismans quickly. So, that's about it. This idea is partly inspired from a comment I received a couple weeks ago, so if I see him again, I'll be sure to pin him. But before I leave today, I want to ask you, how would you change this run? Instead of Godrick, would you visit a mine? Would you start with the broadsword instead of the Uchigatana? Or would you run and pick up the claymore? So let me know what you do in the comments down below. As always, this video is sponsored by my novel, Follow the Gleam, link down below. And for more build and Souls-like videos like this, every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to like and subscribe to the Jersey side. If all goes well, next week I should have the next episode of Try the Zwei.